The Oklahoma Sooners got some surprising news from a 5-star defensive end that surprisingly announced a commitment date way earlier than what was being discussed and talked about. And now Oklahoma fans are sitting here wondering, is Oklahoma still a front runner in this recruitment? Is it going to your arch rivals direction? Well, I think we got to talk about it today. We got to talk about how to keep ourselves level headed because I don't think it's what everybody thinks on the surface. If you kind of look into the recruitment, I think Oklahoma is still in a decent spot, but I think it's worth discussing. So I want to hear from you. Join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and hit that subscribe button so you're always being brought up to speed on what's going on with OU football recruiting. Just to give you guys an update, I think we're going to start doing actual recruiting reports on Wednesdays. Especially during the football season when we got everything else going on. It feels like Wednesday might be a good day. I'll let you guys know on the official schedule. You guys can let me know what you guys think about that. We'll obviously talk about offers and stuff throughout the week. And then remember, we're giving away this signed Deion Burks card. I will be giving this away next Monday. Deion Burks is going to have a great season, so this is going to go to a great home. If you want to be entered into the raffle to win this, you get one entry per video. All you have to do is make sure you're subscribed and jump in the comments below. That will get you entered in once per video. Now, we got to talk about Jake Cruel here because he announced that he's going to be making his college decision on August 12th on College Football Live, the 5-star defensive end coming down between Oklahoma, Texas, and Ole Miss. Now, if you're one of the 10 hatters, right, people that want to believe in the hat theories and the hat science and conspiracy stuff, Jake Cruel doesn't wear a helmet in this picture. So does that tell you something about Oklahoma? Does that mean they're the leader? Does that mean they're last here? Not 100% sure. He is, got Texas in the middle. So, yeah, I guess we'll just find out on August 12th. But I will say this. I'm not as worried about Jake Cruel moving up his commitment date like some other people are. And I'm going to tell you why you don't need to be worried and why I'm not worried about it. And the biggest reason is Jake Cruel has been one of Oklahoma's biggest targets here in the 2026 class. They've made him a priority. They want Jake Cruel. Even if he picks Texas on August 12th, you would imagine the Oklahoma Sooners are going to continue to push. Now, I understand the thought process here. The commitment date comes out early. Everybody wants to say a school dropped a bag. And when Oklahoma fans say a school dropped the bag, they mean in this instant, Texas dropped a bag. But that might not be the case. See, because he's one of Oklahoma's best targets in this class, who's to say Oklahoma didn't drop a bag? Who's to say because there's been no recruiting momentum for Oklahoma on the recruiting trail that they're not trying to lock a guy like Jake Cruel up right now before the season starts? And even if Jake Cruel commits to Texas, he still has to sign with Texas. And if Oklahoma goes out there, they're 6-0, and Texas ends up being 4-3 or 4-2 after the OU game, who's to say Jake Cruel doesn't decide to flip that commitment to Oklahoma? Because now there's stability in the coaching program. He knows Miguel Chavis and Brent Venables could be here for the long run. So for Oklahoma fans that want to freak out because this hasn't been the greatest recruiting cycle in all of Oklahoma history, I think you need to calm down a little bit because I think things are still in a good spot. You just have to trust that the staff kind of knows what they're doing. The Jim Nagy's going to be able to get the deal done. And you know that they're in contact with Jake Cruel's agent. Jake Cruel's agent is in contact with every other school, trying to get him the best deal. But I'm telling you right now, he's a priority for Oklahoma. And based on the guys that I've talked to some recruits who believe that Jake Cruel is going to be here. There's some OU folks that believe Jake Cruel is going to be a Sooner, which it's funny. They tell you that he's going to be a Sooner. They don't tell you when he's going to be a Sooner, right? So again, that comes back to, does he sign with Texas? But then you've got some confidence on the Texas side. So it's a very mixed bag out there right now. So just be careful in what you read and what you hear. You got to be able to collect all the data together. And you got to be able to look at it somewhere in the middle. And the constant of this recruitment has been Oklahoma. And I'm going to continue to ride the constant that is Oklahoma until the intel and the data just points completely somewhere else. Now, the question is, where does Oklahoma go if they do lose Jake Cruel? because, again, you're going to have to go out there and land some other guys. I think DeAnthony Lafayette could be a flip target for Oklahoma, along with Jake Krull during the regular season. KJ Ford could be a flip target for Oklahoma. James Carrington, who ended up committing to Florida State. I think all of those guys could be guys that Oklahoma circles back around on if Jake Krull ends up going to the University of Texas. Now, the question is, what about the other 5-star, Davian Gross? Where's Oklahoma at with him? I see a lot of people ask this question all the time. Well, with Davian Gross, it's kind of the same status quo. You really don't have a firm commitment date here. It feels like this is going to drag into the season for Davian Gross, probably to the Michigan game. I bet if Oklahoma wins that game and Davian Gross is uncommitted, they could probably get him to shut it down and lock it in right there. But the athlete coming out of Frisco, Texas, going to end up playing wide receiver here at Oklahoma, which we know is a position of need. I think that's also another reason why I think Oklahoma probably still wins this recruiting battle and is the leader. They desperately need wide receivers in this class. Davian Gross is a great wide receiver. He is a great athlete overall. And I think he's a guy that can project at multiple levels for you. And so I think Davian Gross, Oklahoma, still a match made in heaven. I think you just got to wait a little bit longer for the commitment date. But it definitely feels like people around the program are pretty confident in where Oklahoma sits for Davian Gross. But you got to watch out for Baylor. They're definitely going to be a problem. Now, you've also got Elijah Golden coming up with a commitment date of August 9th. Now, this one's still pretty split, in my opinion, based on the people that I've talked to. It seems pretty split between Notre Dame and Oklahoma, but this guy, Jim Nagy, wants him. Jim Nagy wants Elijah Golden bad. And so because of that, I do think Oklahoma can get the deal done, even if it doesn't happen on August 9th. If Oklahoma goes out there and rattles off 9 or 10 wins, it's going to be pretty hard for Elijah Golden to say no to the Oklahoma Sooners. So keep your eyes peeled there on August 9th on CBS Sports. He will be making his college decision, and it's going to be between Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, and Alabama. Now, additionally, you've got T-Ron Richardson, who also announced a commitment date of, I believe, August 26th, if I remember correctly. Another guy, 22 total offers, 3-star, number 433 guy in the entire country, 6'2.5", 295 pounds, out of Hopewell, Virginia. You're battling Virginia Tech and Penn State, it really feels like here. Syracuse is in the mix as well. Oklahoma got their official visit on June 6th. If Oklahoma doesn't land in Elijah Golden, I do imagine they're probably going to press just a little bit harder for T-Ron Richardson. But yeah, if I had to take a guess now, I don't think it's Oklahoma to be able to land his services, but Oklahoma's been in a pretty good spot for his recruitment, and I definitely think Oklahoma's probably second. If they're not second, they're really close second in this recruitment. So that's kind of where we're at with recruiting. It's tough. It's tough right now. 2026 has not been the most exciting cycle, but it's coming. Once the season gets here and Oklahoma starts winning games, the recruits will follow. So join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Give me your thoughts. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and you hit that subscribe button.